kita mau naik ke boat center line.
Sana kan?
Mau kemana?
Tahu.
Hah? Mau nyari itu? Pengen kencing? Tuh dalam ada toilet perempuan. Sebelahnya laki-laki deh. Tuh ada toilet.
Emang ini udah untuk kita ini?
Bukan. Kita 12.45, ini yang berangkat 12.30. Kita berangkatnya kan 1.30.
Duduk aja.
Duduk aja.
Ja, das kommt gleich.
Dutch point.
Ada dua atas kan.
Naik cruise.
Di video. Yang mana? Dia hotdog, mau hotdognya?
Hotdog. City Pass or C3 tiket. Itu ada berapa? How
are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
The staircases will bring you to the upper deck.
Sini sini.
Yeah. Yep. The staircases, yeah, either one. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Where you guys from?
Indonesia.
I've been in Jakarta.
Oh. Iya. Oh, yang print.
Hah?
Lepas itu tak? Oke. Nggak jadi deh.
Oh, dia bisa ke belakang tuh.
Yeah, because the other piece that is a small one, but one fit one. One is going to do the other one.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Like 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Anything else? If you want to pick up both, would you like to come? Yeah. Oh, yeah. 2 more minutes for this one, and then the other one is like.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, last but not least, keep everything with you that you brought with you. Whatever you brought, bags, luggage, backpacks, refrigerators, I don't know. Keep it all with you at all times. Don't leave anything out of your possession. Now, naturally, if you go somewhere for 2 minutes to get a picture and come back to your seat, that's okay. I'm talking about if you want to go somewhere for a while. A good example is that the bow opens up when we get on the waterway. Now you can go and stand on the bow, do the Titanic thing if you like. Hello, Jack. Hello, Rose. Let the wind blow through your hair. Mine's just about gone. But nonetheless, you go out to the bow for a little bit, take your stuff with you. People tend to like it out there. And you get great pictures from the bow. So again, that's kind of, now if you're just going to go down for a minute or two to get a picture, again, use your judgment. If you think you're going to be somewhere different on the boat for a while, take your stuff with you. All right, now with that being said, we're going to get rolling here shortly. When we do, I'll go over emergency procedures. Again, I'm Jerry, your tour guide, and it's going to be a pleasure giving you guys a tour around the island today. All right, be back with you in just a few minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
When we talk about getting around the city, though, New York can be a bit of a headache. And that's because New York City is built on islands. Manhattan is an island. Brooklyn and Queens is part of Long Island. We got Staten Island. The only borough connected to the mainland of the United States is the Bronx. So waterways divide our city. Now, when we talk about the main part of New York City, it is the island of Manhattan. This is where everything started. Manhattan is a Native American word. It comes from the Algonquin language, and it means island of many hills. So whenever you speak the word Manhattan, you're speaking Native American. Isn't it nice to know you're a little bilingual right now, huh? What got things rolling here were the Dutch. The Dutch opened up at the tip of Manhattan in 1625. They gave it the name New Amsterdam. And they opened it as a trading post to make money for a company in Holland. And today we call this Wall Street downtown, where they're trading Monday through Friday to make money for companies on a global basis. Well, we can thank the Dutch for that. Now, in 1664, the British acquired this island from the Dutch, and they renamed it New York to honor the Duke of York, who was a brother to King Charles II. And from 1783 to 1790, New York City is our nation's first capital. This is where the United States of America comes together. Now, if you can visualize the United States of America as a tree, New York City is the root of that tree. And whatever affects New York City tends to affect the rest of this country. And so this is kind of my pleasure to kind of share how things are throughout the city. Now, as we're backing out onto the Hudson River, the Dutch once called this river the North River because it marked the northern boundaries of the New Netherlands. But later on, it was renamed after the English explorer that the Dutch hired, who discovered this waterway. The Hudson River goes 300 miles to the north. It starts as fresh water, but as it flows south, it intermingles with the salty water of the New York, which is an island. Now, this area to the left in Manhattan is known as Hell's Kitchen. And Hell's Kitchen got that name back in the 30s when the cops had to walk the neighborhoods. And it was a rough area. So the cops gave it the nickname Hell's Kitchen, and it stuck. Now, in the 1950s, over the tracks. So today, the trains lie over underneath all these new buildings. Now, in the middle of all these new buildings, you see this interesting big piece of architecture, and it kind of looks like a basket. That is called the vessel. And people often ask me, what does it do? Absolutely nothing. It is what we call an architectural folly. It's decorative. And so this is what we're looking at. Now, another thing you got to remember is even though we're sailing on top of the Hudson River, underneath us is tunnels that connect Manhattan to the mainland. Now, for traffic, we got the Lincoln and Holland Tunnel that go right underneath the Hudson River to New Jersey. What they're building over here to the left is a secondary tunnel to go into Penn Station to help relieve the train congestion going in and out of Penn Station. They only have one big tunnel, and that is constantly being delayed with train traffic and jams. So these ships that you see here with the cranes and the barges, they're working on a second tunnel underneath the river for the trains to go in and out of Penn Station to the mainland of the United States. Again, so this is why getting around the city can be a bit of a challenge at times. We're islands. All right, now after this construction area, we're moving into another area to the left called Chelsea. Now, Chelsea is given that name by a British officer who bought this land in the 1700s from a Dutch farmer, and he gave it the name Chelsea. Now, today, Chelsea is home to your fashion. But in 1823, there was an author who wrote a poem called A Visit from St. Nick. that was published in a local newspaper. And today that local poem is known as "'Twas the Night Before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse." Saint Nicholas is a feast day that is celebrated in Holland and Germany. It is a bishop, way back when, who gave treats to kids. The Dutch word for Saint Nicholas is Sinterklaas. And this is how Santa Claus comes into being. Now, when we talk about The Night Before Christmas, written by Clement Clark Moore in Chelsea, this is the first time we see Santa on a sleigh with 8 reindeer. You don't see that in any other European tradition. It came out of Chelsea. And he gives these reindeer names: Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid, and Donder and Blitzen. Donder and Blitzen are Dutch words for thunder and lightning. That's how fast those reindeer go. So when we talk about some of the Christmas stuff that we are familiar with today, a lot of it comes out of New York and in the Chelsea area. Now we're also looking at the Chelsea Pier Trade Center building right over there. Alrighty. Now we're going to look to the right. This is like boot camp, folks. Left, right, left, okay? We're looking back over to the right side. And on the New Jersey shoreline, we're going to be looking at a big clock. Now, this is our Colgate toothpaste clock. And that has been ticking out time since 1921. It is over 100 years old. And it's constantly reminding us that it's time to brush your teeth. And when you do brush your teeth, make sure you use Colgate toothpaste. So coming up is our Colgate toothpaste clock. Now also coming up after the clock, we're going to be looking at 2 islands. The first island is called Ellis Island, named after a merchant named Samuel Ellis. However, in 1892, it opened as the largest immigration center in the United States, processing thousands of immigrants coming into this country every day. It closed in 1954, and today it's now part of our National Park Service, and it's open to the public. Now, after Ellis Island is Liberty Island, and this is where Lady Liberty stands. Now, the Statue of Liberty is a gift from France. The French gave it to us in 1884, but it took us a few years to put it together. Somebody lost the instructions. Oh, bad joke, that never goes over. They were actually trying to get money to put it together. So it took them a few years to get the money to put the Statue of Liberty together. So Lady Liberty did not open until 1886. Now, she was designed by a French sculptor named Frederick Auguste Bartholdi. The skeletal work of Lady Liberty was done by a French engineer, and his name was Gustave Eiffel, the same Eiffel that the tower's named after in Paris. Now, from toe to torch, she stands at 150 feet tall. But from her pedestal to her torch, she's 302 feet tall. Now, the reason why Lady Liberty is green is she's made out of copper. And over time, copper does oxidize and turns green. How many people have worn copper jewelry at one time or another? And after 2 days, your skin starts turning green. I tried that, copper bracelets, rings. Next thing I know, what's going on? Copper oxidizes. And this is why Lady Liberty is green. All right, now before we get to Ellis Island and Liberty Island, let's take a look to the back of the boat to the left and look at this majestic view of the Manhattan skyline. Now, I don't want to tell people what to do with their cameras or phones, but this is really where you should start walking around the boat, and you get some of the best pictures of New York City right here in the New York Harbor. Look at that Manhattan landscape on a day like today. If that is not a National Geographic picture, I don't know what is. This is where I should hear nothing but the clicking of cameras. Click, 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 click. And coming up off to the right in a minute is Ellis Island, followed by Liberty Island. All righty. Arts architecture, which was very popular in the late 18th to early 1900s.
I hope that made it to your Marco Polo. Oh. Yeah.
Now remember, the bow of the ship is open. If anyone wants to go downstairs, stand in front of the bow. You can also get some great pictures at the front of the bow as well. Might be a little cool, but you'll get good pictures.
Foto sini kan? Selfie sini.
Não tinha nada, mas tô...
Ah, medium?
好震撼啊，好小哦。好矮。
What was it?
哇，还可以登上去的。主要是它顶在那个皇冠里。啊？走路走到顶那个皇冠里。哇，那很高哎。一直走上去没电梯。你不开一站？它上面怎么还有一个金黄色的是什么？鸽子吗？它那个火焰啊。
Foto dulu nih, berdua dong.
Third largest city in the United States, and over to the left, New York was number 1. Now, during the 1800s, when we talk New York City, it is just the island of Manhattan then. There was no 5 boroughs yet. So you had 2 major cities, the city of Brooklyn and the city of New York. And what divided those cities, of course, was the East River. So to get those, that's later. You're jumping ahead of the tour. Now, to get to those cities, you had to take a boat. However, in 1883, the Brooklyn Bridge opens. And when the Brooklyn Bridge opens, it connected 2 major cities, the city of Brooklyn to the city of New York. Today, it connects 2 boroughs. It's all part of New York City today. Now, the Brooklyn Bridge was designed by a German immigrant named John Roebling. And he was a pioneer in steel suspension cables. When the Brooklyn Bridge opened, it was the longest suspension cable bridge in the world for 20 years. And we're heading over to the Brooklyn Bridge now. Coming up to the right, you're going to see the Staten Island Ferry. This ferry takes you from Manhattan over to Staten Island. Staten is another Dutch word. What Staten translates to in English is state. So if we were to call this by its English name, it would be the State Island Ferry. So Staten, again, is part of our Dutch heritage. There's a lot of Dutch here in the city. People just don't know it. How many people have heard of Bowery Street? Bowery is the Dutch word for farm. In the 1600s, that was all farmland. So again, there's a lot of Dutch influence throughout the city. Now, if you look to the left side, at the tip of Manhattan, you're looking at Battery Park right here. And this is where everything really started. This little area of Manhattan, Battery Park, is where the city of New York started. It is also where the United States of America started. Small things lead into big adventures. And boy, what a big adventure that was when they opened it up as our first capital down here. This is where everything was developing. At the tip of Manhattan, right here to the left, And today that's known as Battery Park. And then you go up a little bit to Wall Street. A lot of stuff to see there to walk around. All righty. Now, as we pass Governor's Island, you're looking over here to the right, and we're looking at the shoreline of Brooklyn right here. Now, this shoreline is called Red Hook, and this is our last active maritime port in the city. The cranes are for the container ships that dock there. Just beyond the cranes is where the big cruise ships come in, or the transatlantic ocean liner known as the Queen Mary, run by Cunard. So again, if you look over to the right, you're looking at Red Hook, and that is our last active maritime port really in the city.
Ada habis Brooklyn Bridge. Oh, nggak lewat sini.
Now, if we look over to the left side, we're looking at an older area in Manhattan called South Street Seaport. Years ago, this is where ships came in, the three-mast sailing ships. If you ever saw the movie The Gangs of New York in the infamous Five Points area, it's not far from here. So a lot of this is based on that area. Now today this has all been redone. You got a heliport right there for tour helicopters. Up ahead is Pier 17. That's been rebuilt, a lot of sports bars there. So again, we're now getting into a lot of the redevelopment of Lower Manhattan here. But this area is still called South Street Seaport.
Baterainya habis cuy.
All right, now coming up after the Brooklyn Bridge, there's another bridge right after that we're going under, and that's called the Manhattan Bridge. The Manhattan Bridge opened in 1909 to connect the subway service from Manhattan to Brooklyn. By 1909, Brooklyn is now part of New York City. It's a borough. And the subway opened up in Manhattan in 1904. So how do we get the subways over to the other boroughs? Well, you build a bridge. So we got the Brooklyn Bridge, which connected two cities when it opened. Then we got the Manhattan Bridge that connects two boroughs with the subway system. And so this is what we're looking at up ahead of us.
May foto di sini. Di mana? Sini nih, di sebelah sini nih. Susah. Sini tuh. Wah, ini buat break. Namanya.
Now this area is known as Dumbo. And Dumbo is another acronym. What Dumbo means is down underneath Manhattan Bridge Overpass. We talk shorthand here, folks.
What did you say?
If you're ever familiar with shorthand. I could say things like, let's meet in Soho for dinner, and then we'll go to Tribeca for drinks, and then Dumbo for ice skating. And out-of-towners would not have a clue what I just said. Soho is another acronym that means south of Houston Street. So this is Dumbo right here. All right, now we're going underneath the Manhattan Bridge. If you hear rumbling or racketing above us, no worries, that's just a train going by. And that's exactly what the bridge was built for, the trains.
Habis baterainya.
And I think I hear a train now. We try to time these things, folks. Give everybody the feel of the city a little bit.
Ya. Kelihatan aku ya.
Tawatin.